Right team, so check out how beautiful this view is. Unbelievable. You guys know I love the views. So just wrapping up here, heading home in like a day and a half's time, and here in Palm Springs just spent the last like 4 days with a room full of fucking icons, legends, and I think more importantly just like decent, incredible humans, people who actually care about other people. I've kind of realized there's a bit of a split when it comes to the online business space. There's what I believe is kind of like the info space, where it's all about just selling ideas, not necessarily worrying if the person who's digesting those ideas actually gets results. And then I think there's the online education space. And I think the people who are operating in the online education space just truly, deeply care about other humans. And neither's wrong. I don't think either is right. But that's just the vibe I get, because I spent the last few days surrounded in a room with 7, 8, 9-figure online educators, and the fucking effort and the thought and the energy and the strategy that they put into how they deliver their services, deliver their coaching, deliver their advisory or consulting services. You can't fucking speed run that shit. You cannot cheat code the level of detail and expertise that you have to be able to help people get world-class results. And that's been a big reflection of mine over the last few days, because the cool thing is actually it's my default. My default is to probably over-index energy and effort into my clients. And I say that because one of my big takeaways from the past few days is that next year is the year to go pro when it comes to content. And it was the biggest discussion basically for the whole week. Well, not discussion, but like the big idea for the week was you need to be making more content. You need to be making clearer content that cuts through the noise, and you need to be professional about it. I'm getting in the way of some chick's photo shoot. So like, yeah, it was super cool. Like I was, just reflecting on this morning. I was I went for a run, and 6 years ago, I was inspired to become a creator. And I think at the time, this was like, I had a full-time job. I didn't have any products to sell. I just knew I didn't want to be in the situation that I was in. Stuck in a 9-to-5, feeling like I had no purpose, no mission. I was just a cog in a wheel, someone else's big giant fucking wheel. And I remember seeing Ali Abdaal's content start to kind of pop off a bit. This was about 5 to 6 years ago. And kind of similar times, just after like Casey Neistat had like a big rise and surge in popularity. And I was like, I guess I saw myself a little bit in Ali's story, because he was a clinician. I think at the time he was still a clinician. And I was like, well, I've been a dentist. I can do what he's doing. And I ended up taking one of his courses on Skillshare. I took a course on how to edit videos. And I remember learning, and I'd lock myself in my bedroom during COVID whilst my roommates would get belligerently drunk every night. And I teach myself how to edit. And yesterday and the day before, and just the last few days, I spent a shitload of time with Ali and played paddle against him the other day. We've just been chatting and kind of exchanging ideas, and he's started a new program, and kind of just gave him some advice on what I think is how he should think about how he delivers that service to that program. And I think like it was mind-blowing. I'm in this room and there are just dozens and dozens of like 7, 8, 9 figure online educators, and these are people obsessed with giving the very, very best that they can for their clients and their customers. And it was just a really cool fucking reflection. I did an interview podcast with Taki, who is my mentor and the guy who's organizing this mastermind for his boardroom group. So to be a member of boardroom, you have to be a 7 or 8 figure entrepreneur or online educator. And it's just so clear that the people in that room were in that room because they didn't take shortcuts, and they actually care about providing extremely high levels of service to their clients and customers. And it's been incredibly inspiring and incredibly motivating, the fact that I'm now sat in that room. And I left yesterday very much feeling like, in the top of my mind was that saying of like, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. And yesterday I left feeling like I was the dumbest motherfucker in that room. And so I know that I was in the right room. And that was really cool. So my recommendation to you is, right now, it's towards the end of the year, 2026 is around the corner. Ask yourself, are you in the right room? Are you surrounded by people who are ahead of you? Do you have a clear idea of where you can go and how you can get there? Because yesterday I spent the morning on a hot air balloon with 6 other entrepreneurs who have been online educators for years, decades probably collectively, and we all spent 8 minutes on each other's main core bottleneck to solve it. And to think that, I had their attention on me, fucking hell. And it's really funny because apparently one of the hot air balloons had $700 million worth of collective net worth. And freaking out because one of them had a bit of a crash landing. So yeah. But yeah, I just thought I'd kind of wrap up my thoughts here, because these types of videos get fuck all views. But next year I'm definitely thinking, the big thought for me is, how can I go even more professional when it comes to my content? The cool thing is I've been really testing a lot of stuff over this past year, testing formats, testing styles, and I've got a lot of data now to go off, because this hasn't been a growth year for me. The business hasn't required leads, it hasn't required growth. These guys have been at it for fucking like 10 minutes getting photos now. Jesus. They're probably looking at me thinking I'm an absolute dipshit as well. But yeah, I'm next year is about really turning the dials up on the professionalism of my content. So really what that looks like, is consistency in formats, consistency in cadence, and I think I've got a really clear idea of what that looks like. Consistency is really important when it comes to like growing and growing your profile. And yeah, I think this time next year, if I get to the point in November next year and I'm like, I can look back and say, you know what, I'm actually playing at the same level as these guys, the guys like Ali, Ryan, Maria, and that's my big kind of takeaway, is that this time next year I need to have really made some big fucking moves when it comes to content, and because the helping clients stuff, I've got a pretty good wrap on that. So I think this has been 10 minutes now. I just wanted to share this really because it's been such a fucking profound week. So who are you in the room with, or who's in the room that you're in? Are they ahead of you? Have you reached a ceiling? Just make sure you're in a room where you've got a clear plan, and the people who are ahead of you in 2026 can support you, inspire you, motivate you, solve your fucking problems for you, because that's what's happened for me this week. And it's just another proof that when you invest in yourself and your education, you always win. Okay, I've got a bunch of videos coming out over the next few weeks. I hope you look forward to them. I think I need to go check one now to give it a scan, and go watch this video next. Right, that was sick. I'll see you in the next one.